Good noodle was like, I just woke up. I just woke up, yeah. So 12:40, man. Slept for a long time. I drink jeans, I know. I gave my jeans answer yesterday about the CFL. Yeah. I mean, how you do, man? You know how low our minds away. I have to listen to God, obviously. Yeah. So I can figure it out. Yes, I did. When I watched CFL football for years, obviously, I noticed how like it was quality football. These American guys are putting on a show, obviously. But I was clueless. I didn't know about the Canadian rule when I was younger. As I got older, I studied the league, and I knew about the seven starting rule and everything. I remember I'd watch the CFL draft and I'd be like happy for the players, and like half these guys don't get to shine. It's all these American guys, and even though they're putting on a show's quality football, I don't really care about those guys. I'd love to see the draft pick shine. And I figured out, yeah, that's why the people in Canada don't care about your CFL. Either that or they just don't care about Canadian football. I could be wrong, right? Either people in Canada just don't care about Canadian football, or there's a lot of people who do care, but they know all these draft picks are not going to shine in your league. Most of them are not going to shine in leagues. It's all going to be the American guys. They don't really care. Obviously, that's my answer. They can't resonate with the American guys. Oh, it's just fucking dick. Well, that's the truth. I'm gonna be an asshole, man. That's how I feel. When I watch CFL games, even though it's quality football, I don't resonate with these American guys. I don't even know who these guys even are, man. From a different country. Yeah. And the CFL markets them like crazy on the TSM promo thing. Yeah, it's cool. They're CFL stars. It's very interesting, obviously, but I don't really care that much because they're American. They're from a different country playing in Canada, so it's like, man, I'd love to see some star Canadian players be featured on CFL promo, but it's all these American guys. Yeah, that's my answer. Or the fans of Canada just don't care about Canadian football, right? That's another answer, obviously. CFL never make that change out even? No, no, never gonna happen. They see it as risky, obviously. Don't forget the bias. The American bias has been passed on to the league for decades. So it's been an ongoing thing for decades. So they're not gonna, no, they're not gonna change their mind. They're never gonna make that choice because the bias has been going on for decades in the CFO where they bring all the American guys and they shine up here and the Canadian guys don't get to shine. It's a bias, obviously, that's been going on for decades, obviously. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Vaz, but that's serious shit, man. That's cold, man. Yeah, yeah, obviously. It's almost like the CFL doesn't want the best Canadian players to be successful and shine up here in Canada. They want these American guys to shine up here in Canada. Like, it's very weird. It's just a bias. Yeah, we're biased. Like a few of the Canadian guys can be stars, but the American guys are the stars up here. Because they put on the show because they're blind by the American talent. They're crazy people. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so CFL, they don't like the Canadian players. Yeah, they just don't like the. I don't know, they just don't like the Canadian players. Oh, it's weird. You guys are more valuable to us because they're Canadian, but like the American guys are more talented. They just have to shine up here. Well, this is not even their countrymen. You never want to be in your CFL to begin with. They're only here by default. Yeah, it's very weird. That's how they want to go to the league with those guys. People are only here by default. You go to the league that way, and you promote those guys to the Canadian people. And that's why I believe the league's not growing. CFL. Yeah. Or the fans just don't care about your CFL. Those are my two answers, obviously, right? Oh, does it really piss you off when they promote all these American guys? Yes, it does, man. Like, I'm sick of the bias. Like, every time all these guys get drafted, they don't get to be barely even get to be stars. It's all these American guys. I'm like, look, man, like these guys may be talented to put on a show on television, but I don't care, man, that much about those guys. Like, they're American. I don't even know anything about them. I know they never want the beer to begin with. They're only here by default. Like, I don't really resonate with these guys. And that's why I think the league is struggling to grow. CFL. Yeah, I'm saying, yeah. All you everybody's live now. It's cold, man. I know it's cold, man. So the bias has been going on for years, for decades up here in Canada. It's been passed down to the league for decades, obviously. The bias is obviously passed on to the committee and the board members in the league, all passed down for generations. That's why it's never going to go. Yeah, the bias has been going on for decades. We're not just going to change our mind. No, it's yeah. The American guys who come here deserve to be the stars, Ivan. The guys who never want to be here, they're only here by default. In Canada, those are the guys who want to be your CFL stars. You want to promote those American guys, the Canadian people, and that's how you go to the league. It's very weird way of growing the league. Instead of the best players in Canada, who the fans are more familiar with. I mean, oh, you're sick of the American bias. I've had enough, man. I can't take it anymore, man. It really gets under my skin, man. When you see like Bill Stiegel and Matt Devin, and you just talk about all these American guys who are stars and say, well, yeah, it's cool and everything, but like I don't really care, guys, man. Like they're American guys. I can't resonate with them. They're from a different country. There we go. I don't really care that much. Yeah, man. That's personally how I feel. I don't know how all you people in Canada who've watched CFL games. I don't know how you guys. So for me personally, Even though these American guys are amazing athletes who come up here and they have to be CFL stars, it's tough for me to resonate with them because they're American. That's why I'm not really invested in the league. Obviously, that's how I feel. I don't know how you guys are. Some of you guys are. I see what you're saying, man. They may be amazing athletes. They put on a show here, but we don't really resonate with them because they're American players. Yes, with different countries, so it's tough to resonate with these guys. That's my point. I am saying, yeah. CFL's blind. All right, we don't care if the fans don't resonate with these guys. Like when they become CFL stars, the fans love them, and they're amazing talent, and they push on television. This is how we go to the league, because they're blinded by the American talent. Honestly, CFL. It's very weird. So CFL wants to grow the league with the American talent who are only here by default. They never had they been in the NFL, they never would have played here to begin with. They're only here by default. And they want to promote those guys to the Canadian people. Canada. It's a bit weird. Yeah. Instead of the best players played in Canada, the Canadian people. I hear G as a no. I want to believe by the way. Why do you think the Canadian athletes should know about the bias? Of course, every CFL drafting once they step in the training camp, they know about the bias. Yeah, I got drafted, but like I'm sitting on the bench, I'm playing special teams, and all these American guys are the stars up here in the CFL. But they didn't know about the quality. Obviously, yeah, we didn't know about that. You go, yeah, I open your eyes, all you Canadian athletes. Yeah, the CFL obviously doesn't believe the best Canadian players are good enough to put on good quality television with people in Canada. Because they're trying to be the NFL Canada, that's why they bring all the American guys. And they have their bias. They're just blinded by it. The bias has been going on for decades. It's been passed on to the league for decades, so it's never going to go away, obviously. Right? Yeah. Yeah. So like the sequel kind of all they talk about is they barely talk about the Canadian star athletes. It's all about the American guys. But yeah, it's cool. I respect these guys for sequel stars, but I can't write them. I don't really care that much. Is this receiver the best receiver in the league? Is this quarterback the best receiver the quarterback in the league? Yeah, it's cool, but they're American and I can't really res them. I don't really care that much. I'm not as invested in the game. So that's how you feel, obviously. Whereas if they talked about, I don't know, like I don't know, Brandon Bridge as a franchise quarterback, I'd be a lot more interested because he's actually a franchise quarterback for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and he'd take his easy break up. I'm now okay. Now I'm a lot more interested now that he's Canadian. I can relate to him more. It's just my automatic Canadian bias. I don't know how you see all kinds of things. That's personally just how I think, obviously, right? That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Why do you think Brandon is retired? Because of the American bias, obviously. They only gave Brandon Bridge like a 5 game window for like okay. He was starting this is a couple years ago. He played for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. He was starting and everything, and he played. He put on a show on television, but like he wasn't able to win games, and they benched him and then they replaced him with the American guy. Was the American guys, if they perform bad, they have longer windows because the CFL has an American bias. Yeah, we have American bias. If the American QB is not performing well even for one season, we might give that QB another shot the second season. Whereas the Canadian guys, it's not like that. If you're a star player and you do bad after five, especially for quarterbacks, even those billion Canadian quarterbacks in the league, after 5 games you're done. They bench you and Brandon Mitch retire. Yeah, I'm probably never gonna start again. The CFL's bias. I'm done. I don't want to play. I don't want to play. Obviously, that's why he quit. He retired because a lot of these players can't take the bullshit. Obviously, the Canadian players can't take the bullshit. Obviously. Yeah. Obviously, the CFL GMs and coaches know the Canadian players are talented. Of course, they do. They're very. I've seen the combine. They're very, very talented players, but they're just not as athletic. And the American players have a little more on the edge. That's why they start the American guys because they put on better quality football for the Canadian people. But I know it's not about the quality of CFL. Like the fact that they're putting on quality football on television and the Canadian fans don't care. That's how you know CFL. It's not about the quality of your game. It's either they don't care, they just don't care about Canadian football, or it's your American talent problem. Your league is bombarded. Your league is bombarded with just American star players and no barely any Canadian star players. So the fans don't resonate with those guys because they don't know who these guys are. They're American. That was my answer. Why the league is not growing that much. I hear genius. I know. I figured it out. Genius. Yeah. So you always have that feeling. Yeah, like I watched the Grey Cup. Can this quarterback win the Grey Cup? Who's the better quarterback and everything? Yeah, it's cool and they're amazing players, but I don't really resonate with them because they're American. And it'd be nice for them to talk about like franchise Canadian quarterbacks. I don't really care that much. And that's why, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't resonate with American players that much. That's my answer. Let's see. No Hames, yeah. So everyone in the league knows about the rule. Of course they do. They have to listen, obviously, right? When the commissioner is chosen, the committee and the board members, they let the commissioner know about the rule. Yeah, we start 7 Canadian players, and the rest are the American players who are the stars of the league. So they put on a show on television, draft all the best players in Canada in the CIS play. Only a few of them will get to be stars, and the rest are not stars, obviously. That's what they tell the commission, obviously. And the CFL Canadian draft picks are not really aware of the bias until they step in the training camp, and they're aware of the bias, obviously. Yeah. Yeah. So CFL just doesn't like the Canadian players. Yeah, they don't. I don't. They just don't. They don't really like the Canadian guys as much as the American guys. They're biased towards the American talent. That's how it works, right? Yeah. They like the Canadian players, whereby they draft them and everything, but a few of them get to be stars. All the star players, the American players. So it's almost like the CFL. They don't want these Canadian star athletes who got drafted to shine up here and be the stars. They want the American guys to shine up here and be the stars over the Canadian guys because they're a bit more talented, and that's how we go to the league. It's very weird. It's weird, honestly. It's just the American bias they have, honestly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, we don't care if the fans in Canada are resident American players. They're very talented. They put on a show on television. We don't care if they ever want to be here. They're only here by default. This is how we're going to League Ivan. We have to promote these guys to the Canadian people. This is how we're going to League Ivan. Oh yeah, that sounds like a very weird way of growing the league. You just bring guys up here who never want to be here. They're just here by default. They put on a show on television to the Canadian people, but they're clueless. They don't know anything about these guys. They can't read these guys because they're American. And some of the guys you promote, they leave the NFL, and that's the reason why I believe the league is struggling to grow because the fans are not really resonating with these American guys. You guys should say, huh? Because they know they never want to be here. They're only here by default. You know what I'm saying? And they're American. They don't really resonate with them. It's tough for the fans to resonate with these guys. So I'm saying, yeah. I hear Jesus, I know. Yeah. You think it could be a jealousy thing? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it could be a jealousy thing. I don't know. Yeah, like we know the Canadian talent are more have higher market value. If we get rid of the American talent, this thing could be huge. You know, so we don't want these guys to shine up here. Like the American guys are to shine up here. Yeah, so they're just you just have the American bias. It's very weird. Fucking weird. Yeah. I don't believe that obviously, but like it's just weird. It's very weird obviously. Yeah. Get paid today. I The fans love the American star players. Yes, they do. They do. They love the star players in the league. They do. Obviously, when they're CFL stars, the fans love them. But because they're American, they don't resonate with them. They don't really care that much about them compared to the Canadian players. That's my point. They don't relate to them that much because they're American. That's my point. I don't hate him. Oh, you're just a fucking dick. Well, that's just the truth, man. Don't hate him. Yeah. But quite a bit of those CFL star athletes who the fans love, when they get their NFL opportunity, the fans never hear from them again. They just disappear and they ditch the CFL to go to the NFL. So it's like, yeah, these guys never really want to be here to begin with. They're only here because they're only here by default and they get an NFL opportunity. So it's tough. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's tough for the Canadian people to resonate those American guys, CFL. CFL doesn't care either. We know that, but we don't care. Like they're talented because they're blind by the talent. They're talented. They want to show up here. I'm saying even though they're here by default, this is how we go to the league, Ivan. They put a show on television with all these guys, the Canadian people. This is how we go to the league, Ivan. And I'm like, okay, that's a very weird way of growing your league and marketing these American guys who never want to be here. They're only here by default to the Canadian people in Canada. And you're wondering why your league's not growing, CFL. Yeah. Carson Sarah? So you do get a lot of news. Yeah, you get quite a bit of news. Yeah, this CFL star player left in the NFL. Like you get the news, and I have that feeling. Yeah, these guys use the CFL to get an NFL shot, and they're CFL stars. Their fans love them, and that's why it's tough for me to resonate with these American guys. Because I know a lot of them never want to be here. They're only here by default policy. You see it from on top. We know that's true, but we don't care, man. We don't care if these guys never really wanted to play here. They're only here by default. They're very talented. They're blind by talent. They're very talented. They put on a show on television. This is how we rule the league, Ivan. This is from all those guys, the Canadian people. This is how we rule the league, Ivan. Yeah, I mean, you guys are seeing little girls, so obviously something's not working. You, the fans of Canada, don't care about Canadian football, which I think is false. I think there is a bigger market for it. They're just not resonating with your star American talent, CFL. You have something called the American talent problem in your league. Your league is bombarded with all these American players who are the stars, obviously. Fans not really resonating with those guys. That's my answer. Alright, that's actually funny, I know. That's my answer. I'm sorry? It was like I was about to back in a sec. The bias is bad. Yeah, it's bad. Very bad, honestly. Or why the CFL even has a bias towards the awards. But maybe for the quarterbacks, they do have an opportunity to win MVP. I don't know. As I said in Mansville, they could. But for the other positions, it's a most outstanding Canadian where it's how it works. Just CFL, right? As Nathan Rourke is killing the league right now in the CFL. Yeah, last game he put up like 300 plus points, 300 plus yards. He had like 5 touchdowns last game. Nathan Rourke. My younger brother told me that. Yeah. Awesome. Nathan Rourke will probably have about 4,000 yards passing in the CFL this year. Close to that range, around 4,000 plus yards passing in this CFL. He's Canadian, man. That's how you know CFL. There's not that much of a difference, man. Like, but you need to get rid of the American talent if you want to have these Canadian guys shining in the CFL. Obviously. When the panel talks about the franchise name quarterbacks, they have like I don't know 3,000, 4,000 yards passing, this amount of touchdowns. Because this quarterback taking team to the Grey Cup, I'm not a lot more interested, obviously, in interested. I'm more invested because I can relate those guys are Canadian. Whereas the American guys, I don't really care that much because I don't resonate with them. I don't relate to them. That's my point, right? Yeah. So you figured out the key. I did. I figured out the reason why the CFL's not growing. I'm like, yeah, I know why. It's not because of the quality of the game, CFL. It's something. It has to be something else. And I figured out, yeah, it's the American talent problem. Even though these American guys who come here put on a show, they're amazing athletes. I don't really resonate with them because they're American, and that's why a lot of people in Canada don't care about your Canadian football CFL. When they promote them on the CFL and use them promo, yeah, it's cool, but I don't really care that much because they're American guys. I don't know anything about these guys. I can't resonate with them. I can't relate to them. That's my answer. You're a genius. I know, genius, obviously. Yeah, So if you open the players' eyes, yeah, all the Canadian athletes in the CFL and all you people in Canada, you open their eyes. They knew about the bias. All the Canadian athletes know about the bias. They're not stupid. And a lot of people in Canada know about the bias, but like, I guarantee all the Canadians or athletes didn't know that. Yeah, Ivan, holy shit, I didn't know that. Well, yeah, it's common sense. The fact that the majority of the star players are the American players, the CFL obviously doesn't believe the star Canadian athletes who get drafted, the best Canadian players who get drafted in the CFL are good enough to put on good enough quality football. But CFL, it's not about the quality, man. It's something else because you're already putting on quality football, and yet people in Canada still don't care about your CFL. So that's how you know it's not about the quality CFL. It's something else, man. It has to be something else. Because I've seen CFL games. It's very, very good quality football. It's almost as good as the NFL, man. And yet the fans still don't care about your league. So there has to be another reason why not many people are watching your television game CFL. And I believe it's the American talent problem. The fans are not resonating with your American star players. They don't even know who these guys even are. Because you're promoting star players who are from a different country to the Canadian people. And they're obviously not resonating with those players, hence why they don't really care that much about your league. That's my answer. You're a genius, I know. I have those with God. Yeah. Or they just don't care about Canadian football, honestly. But I could be wrong. Maybe it's not the American talent. I believe it is the American talent problem. It's either the American talent problem or the fans just don't care about Canadian football. That's my answer, obviously. Either the fans in Canada don't care about Canadian football, which I disagree. I think there is a bigger market for it. They don't really care about the American star players who are playing in your league. Because they can't resonate them, they know they're American, they don't really care that much. That's what I'm saying. That's my point. When the players get drafted in the CFL, does the whole school know about the drafted players? Yes. The school posts the information on the main page of the website. So all the students who log into the website, they know about this player got drafted. They all know, obviously, and some of them will go see these guys. They'll see the preseason game on television, or they go to the game. But they notice how these players who got drafted are not getting any reps. It's all the American guys, and they're like, yeah, they got drafted, but there's a bias in CFL. I don't really care about the CFL. That's why a lot of these people are not tuning into your games. That would be my answer. They know their draft is a crapshoot, obviously. Yeah, I'm happy for this player he got drafted, but he's not a star. None of these guys, barely any of these guys are stars. It's all these American guys. I don't really care. And they don't watch the games, man. That's my answer, obviously. They're not resonating with the American players. Don't hate him, saying, yeah. That's my answer. Um, Yeah. 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 Look, the CFL will never be the NHL, but like this, if they promote the homegrown Canadian talent, like the CFL has potential to be huge, man. In 10 years, in 15, in 20 years, your league revenue can go up to 500, 550 million, 600 million revenue CFL if you make that in 20 years, man. If you make that change, but it's not going to happen. It's risky. We can't do that. We're blind by the American talent. We don't care if these guys never wanted to be here. They're only here by default. They were talented Ivans, they're blind by the talent. They're talented. They put on a show on television. This is how we grow the league, Ivan. Promote these guys, Canadian people. This is how we grow the league, Ivan. Yeah, it's very weird. Instead of the best players playing in Canada who actually want to play here, they want to play up here. These other guys get to shine up here who never want to be here to begin with. They're only here by default. And a lot of the guys you promote on your on television, on your CFL TSM promo, they lead to the NFL. So it's tough for the fans to wrestle those guys. That's my point, right? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I was just saying, yeah. All right, let me see what it is. I know. See what it is sick. I'm sorry. But those are two answers. Yes. Either the fans of Canada don't give a shit about Canadian football. There's no big market for it, or there is a bigger market for it, but they're not. The fans not resonating with American star players playing in the CFL. Those are my answers. Because the CFL is stuck in a pickle. If they want to bring all these guys up from the States and have them be the stars of the league, and even though they're only here by default, they never want to be here. They have no choice but to promote those guys to the Canadian people on television. Yeah, we have no. Yeah, you have no choice but to promote these guys to the people of Canada, people who are from a different country who never want to be here to begin with. They're only here by default. You have no choice but to promote those guys to Canadian people, and they've been doing that for years, and we're seeing very minimal growth. Obviously, something's not working. Either they don't care about Canadian football, and that's how you know it's not about the quality CFL. Because the CFL is quality football. It is, I mean, yes, and yet people kind of still don't care about your game. So there has to be another reason why not many people are tuning into your game, and I think it's the American talent problem you have in your league. Obviously, your league is contaminated with just American players who are stars, brilliant Canadian players. So that's the reason why I think the one in Canada really cares about your CFL, because they can't resonate with these American players who come from the States. Alright, that's funny, I know. That's my answer. Never gonna happen though. We don't care if these American guys never want to be here to begin with, only here by default. We don't care. Like, they're talented, they punch on television. We're gonna promote these guys to Canadian people. This is how we're going to the league, Ivan. Yeah, it's actually funny. Yeah. The CFL and TSN promo talk about Canadian players. They do, but barely, man. There's barely any star players. All they talk about is the American guys. So even if they talk about a few Canadian players, yeah, like the fans are like interested, obviously, because the majority of the stars are the American players. They still don't care. It doesn't really make. They don't really care that much because the main attention of the league is all these American guys, barely any Canadian guys. All about the American guys who are not even from here, and that's why I think a lot of football fans don't really care about your CFL because yeah, it's amazing quality football, but I don't know anything about these American guys. I don't really care that much about the game. That's why you're not getting much television reviews. Or it's not that. That's not the reason. The fans in Canada just don't care about Canadian football. That's my other reason. Either they don't care about Canadian football, or there is a bigger market for it, but they're not resonating with your American talent in your league CFL. You have the American talent problem going on in your league. Obviously, oh Hamilton, yeah. I'm your genius. I know I'm a genius. Bizarre. This video won't be long, guys. I'll talk for maybe about an hour and 5 minutes. I'll watch the show with you guys, and after that, I gotta go to Dinty's to pick up my check. I'll go swimming first. I'll pick up my check at Dinty's, obviously. I guarantee even all you NFL players and American people, you're a genius. I know I'm a genius. Like you might have the key to fixing. Yeah, I think I have the key to fixing the CFL's financial growth problem in Canada. It's the American talent guys. That's what I believe in. That's why your league is struggling to grow. That's my answer. Is the American talent problem in your league CFL. The fans are not resonating with these American players, or they just don't care about Canadian football. That's my other answer. But I think it's more likely the other reason, obviously, because the CFL is high quality football. Even it is, yes, it's high quality. I've watched the game. It's amazing, entertaining football, and yet the people in Canada still don't care. So it's not about the quality of your game, CFL. It has to be something else, obviously, and I believe it's the American talent problem in your league. Because you bring up these American guys from a different country, they get to be stars up here, and you market those guys to the Canadian people. The Canadian people are clues; they don't know anything about these guys. They're American players. That's why they don't really care about your game, obviously. That's my answer. Sorry? All right, you think it will be huge? Yeah, if they got rid of the American talent and they promoted the Canadian homegrown talent, now all the players who got drafted, all the fans in the CIS, if they know that these guys are going to be stars, more of them are going to tune into the games. And they think of in 10 years, in 15 years, you can grow the league to a 550 million business, man, in 15 years. 550, 600 million. 600 million is stressing, maybe a 550 million dollar business in like 12 years, 11, 12 years, you can grow it. But it can also flop too. It's not. I can't see it flopping, man. The fans are going to be more. They're going to relate to the Canadian players more than the American players. That's the truth, right? So if you don't do the Ivan, it's risky, man. Like the quality will dip. Yeah, but CFL, man. Like the fact that you're putting on amazing quality football and the people in Canada still don't care about your CFL. That's how you know it's not about the quality, man. It's not about the quality of your football games. It's about something else, man. There's another reason why the fans don't really care about your league, and I believe it's because of your American talent problem that you have in your league, man. Like your league is just filled with all these American guys who are the stars of the league, and you promote those guys to the Canadian people. The Canadian people don't really care about those guys that much because they're American, don't hang with them, and they can't resonate with them. That's my answer. They care more about the Canadian players, obviously. So, Sarah? That's my answer. Anyways, here's video. You're not talking for long, no, guys. So I need to go swimming, so I'm gonna end this video here. I'll enjoy the show with you guys, and then I'll go swimming. And then when I come back, I might make another video. I might change the topic. I don't know. Always do videos. I know, but I might change the topic. Anyways, here's the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoy the show. So I'm saying, peace. Don't hang, peace out.